Hello, everyone. Really happy to be here to talk about hybrid finance, or the new term that we coined called HyFi, the convergence of DeFi and Fintech. I'm Betty Chan, co-founder at Acala. Acala is the DeFi and liquidity hub and producing decentralized stablecoin for the Polkadot ecosystem and beyond. So let's get into it. So before I go into HyFi, let's set the stage of evolution of blockchain. Getting down to the first principle, Bitcoin is as simple as just a ledger. We call it a calculator error. And then if you move forward a little bit, we get into blockchain 2.0, if you like, or the mainframe era of blockchain. And this is started by Ethereum. And basically, at a very basic level, it is just a ledger, which is very similar to Bitcoin, and plus a EVM. EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine. It's basically a computer that you can write software program. And that's what Ethereum has innovated in a world that what Bitcoin cannot do. And in the last wee while, we are already entering into the cloud era of blockchains, and this is the era of internet of blockchains. And this is also the era of some of the interoperability that you will be seeing from some of the ecosystem that are producing this type of internet of blockchains. In particular today, I'm introducing to you the Polkadot architecture, and also the way Acala is creating this specialized blockchain world that hopefully can actually serve a particular industry, which is decentralized finance, really well, and be able to scale and bridge back into the real world. And in the cloud era, basically you are able to share security within Polkadot, which means blockchain is all about being able to have a lower cost of the trust. Basically, you can become trustless in using the blockchain network. And this trust usually comes with a low cost for individuals who's using the network, but really high cost for the network who's bootstrapping itself. And in a sense, both Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have a really high, market cap, as well as, how they use energy to actually produce this trust or network security. When it comes to this new era, many of the chains evolve into proof of stake. So Polkadot is one of those chains, creates this proof of stake network security, but also it has this crazy functionality that it can share that network security to all the chains that connects to it. And Acala is one of those chains that it can be interoperable within the Polkadot network. And Polkadot is a little bit more like the internet protocol, where Acala is more like one of the application blockchain on top of it. So let's look at specifically what Acala is. So I'll give you some visual demonstration of it. You can think of Acala is the app store for finance. It is basically where it's specially designed, its economic model, its security model are specially designed for finance and also economics. And Acala is the Polkadot liquidity and DeFi hub. And it basically have three distinguished features. Number one is it produces built-in DeFi features because it's a specialized DeFi blockchain. And specifically, Acala's flagship product is a decentralized stablecoin called Acala dollar, or AUSD. And this is very essential in the Web3 world, or the Internet of Blockchain world. And this is basically a native stable currency that can be used, have native cross-chain functionality, and be able to bootstrap the entire Web3 economy, if you like. And this stablecoin uses digital assets as collateral. And hence, it is a little bit like a decentral bank that are able to serve as the lowest level infrastructure that power all the other layers on top of it. And in addition to the stablecoin, we also have some other specialized DeFi features, such as bring your own gas. You can pay gas fees in any tokens you like, including stablecoin like USDC and others. And in addition to it, we also have built-in liquidity through various mechanisms, including liquid staking, various different type of derivatives, as well as crushing assets like Bitcoin, etc. And on top of it, we enabled a Ethereum compatible virtual machine, and this is the computer part that I mentioned earlier, where it turned Acala to be an open protocol platform where many of the applications built as in the form of smart contract can be deployed and also be scaled in the Polkadot or the Web3 ecosystem. So here is a more visual demonstration of what the cloud era looks like. At the very bottom of it, you can see there's a ledger or trust as a service. This is basically powered by Polkadot, which is the internet protocol of blockchain. And then on top of it, Acala specialized blockchain is basically served as a DeFi as a service, creating various different type of DeFi primitives or infrastructures such as stablecoin, as well as liquidity with crushing tokens, assets, as well as derivatives, etc. And then on top of that is the open protocol layer, where virtual machines or computers that are enabled on top of the Acala platform, where the decentralized applications, so protocols, can freely, permissionlessly, and trustlessly deploy on top of Acala and be able to leverage all of the infrastructure that we've built, but also be able to leverage what Polkadot offers is this native trustless crushing capability. And you can imagine if you are a Bitcoin holder, you can trustlessly crush the Bitcoin onto the Acala platform and participate in proof of stake and earning a certain percentage of an annual yield. And then you can also use that to generate a stable coin called Acala dollar. And then you can also use the privacy chain that attached to Polkadot and connects it to Acala to put a privacy layer on top of the coins that you are transacting and using. And with this setup, we'll also be able to partner with folks like Compound, which is a global Compound Gateway, which is a global money market that are able to, basically it's like a commercial bank on top of the decentral bank that are able to provide lending, borrowing, variable interest rate products, etc. And you can see this is how the sort of the service approach or layered approach in the cloud era, things are a lot more composable, as well as the crushing nature becomes native and trustless across multiple ecosystems. So we have already launched one of our test nets, and then we are just about to launch the Acala mainnet. So we actually offer a front end, which is quite unique to many of the layer one blockchains. And this is basically the decentralized bank front end that we offer, where people can borrow out stablecoin. And then a little bit of background of our team. So we started about 2.5 years ago when the market is still at bear market, from about 4 or 5 people, mostly engineers. And now we've grown into a team of 30 plus people across 5 different continents. I'm based in New Zealand and also have teams based in US, Slovenia, Canada, Albania, China. So it's truly a decentralized team there. And we are also one of the top contributors into Substrate, Polkadot, and many of the open source repositories. So along the way, we've also collected many of the supporters and also partners that we collaborate with. The ones that are more familiar with the crypto folks are Pantera, and Polychain, but we've also moved, which I will explain how the fintech part works. Is we've also worked with TQ Ventures, digital currency group, that actually help us to be able to build a bridge from the really Web3 world, be able to deliver the experience that folks are more familiar with in the Web2 world. So today Acara has a very global community across many different continents, and we have more than 800,000 plus community members, and close to probably 200,000 now. The data is a bit outdated. Account holders, and more than 60 plus ecosystem partners. And we have just completed Polkadots' first ever parachain auction, and we were lucky enough to win the first slot. However, I think the numbers and the participants are more impressive. So through this event, we have more than 80,000 on-chain community contributors, and then total contributors are close to 200,000. Those are all from various different agencies, exchanges, as well as the direct contribution through on-chain wallets. And there are 32 million DOT contributed, and that's over 1 billion total value locked at launch. And many of those can be used as liquidity that we are able to provide to any of the applications built on top of us, and also generate stablecoin to be used in the Web3 ecosystem. When we first set up Acara, the goal is always to be able to create this new decentralized, but more importantly, open, transparent, more accessible finance services for everyone on the planet. In order to do that, we believe that the approach is not black or white, it's not either or. It will be a hybrid approach, because while blockchain is replacing or have replaced and will be replacing many of the outdated technical infrastructure and also agencies in the finance world for processing payments, transaction, those trust agencies that we rely on. However, while it's replacing the system, it will not replace the people. It will not replace the experience creators in the ecosystem that are able to deliver those very familiar faces, either through a debit card, credit card that we're familiar with, or mobile apps, or some other maybe metaverse means that we are able to deliver those experiences to our everyday life. So hence, we've worked with some partners in the fintech world. I'm trying to bridge the two sides together. And us in Acara world, we're building the infrastructure from the ground up, the Web3 all the way up. And then for the fintech partners that we have, they're building from top down, from working closely with millions of the consumer users, and then be able to integrate back into the DeFi infrastructure that we produce. And one of the partners that we have is Currentcom, who is the neobank and also uprising banking provider or fintech provider in the US, who is serving more than 3 million younger generation of Americans to help them to manage their finance and then be able to earn, as well as most importantly, be in control of their financial future. So and then the collaboration is, I guess, coined the term of HyFi, where which we're very proud of, is where we will be able to serve many of these consumers using crypto, using blockchain, without them even knowing crypto and blockchain exists. I think that is the sort of the ultimate goal for what we are trying to achieve here. So a number of the steps that we've already taken together is Currentcom already started to run validators and collators, which is the block producers on Acara, so that they actually own part of the infrastructure where they actually produce the products and services to their consumers, right? So this is very typical in blockchain is trust but verify, and Current is doing exactly that. And then we are co-developing yield engine as well as a HyFi bridge between Acaracom and Current core, which is their backend banking systems, so that we can eventually power many of those users with the DeFi infrastructure. Yeah, so you've seen this chart before, but you can see the sort of the of the yield factory, which is basically because we have this open protocol layer that folks can actually deploy smart contracts or any other type of contracts to be able to leverage many of the infrastructure that we have to produce the yield products as well as other financial products for consumers. Yeah, so this is just a short video. I probably won't go through all the details of it, but it's as simple as there are multiple vaults that are able to be created using all the primitives, stable coins, etc. that we created. Through the stablecoin mechanism we have, you can easily create leverage as well as various different type of yield products through staking. And then through those packaging of those products, you will be able to generate certain type of yield, and then that can actually, through the integration between DeFi and the banking core that Current have, then you can actually pipe this back into consumers' hands. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, so as I said, I won't go into too much detail of this, but this is basically showing more from the blockchain side how the transaction is being processed, and then how the positions can be managed. You can think about it as more like fund manager or a vault manager that manages the balance sheet and then it produces yield, etc. But and this can also be integrated at API level and directly go into the banking core. Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, so we definitely truly believe that HyFi is the future. We believe folks from basically two sides of the world, fintech or centralized finance, plus the decentralized finance, together we can create engines that power new global economy, and also be able to power many of those protocols, products and services that are really be able to empower individuals, really giving the power back to individuals to create better financial futures. So yeah, so that is the HyFi future that we're working towards. And as a summary, Acaracom is the app store for finance. We are only at the very beginning of building out this app store. And then another thing that we foresee is there will be more and more specialized blockchains rather than generalized blockchains. Most of the blockchains that you see today are very generalized. They are just like a little bit like PC computer, very generalized computer. But going forward, because we now have the ability to share security and interoperate across many different blockchains trustlessly, then specialization will always trump generalization. And the third thing that I will summarize is Kala is truly decentralized and also peer-to-peer produce truly decentralized and peer-to-peer stablecoin for the entire Web3 ecosystem. And it is also customizable down to the level of the blockchain core as well as the economic model, as well as economic policy. This is highly important because every fintech partner, every real life application is different. Being able to customize, for example, being able to offer transactions fees, being able to pay it in stablecoin, or even in some instance, no fees or feeless transactions are being produced, are very important to empower real life applications. And because of the ability to customize and also the ability to upgrade without forks, we have an unlimited potential to create and innovate in this space. And really the ultimate goal is to offer the benefits of crypto and blockchain to everyone's hands without them even realize and notice. This is from clunky, very hard to use blockchain and crypto that we know today. So that is the goal, and that's the summary. And thank you very much. And you can check out Acara at Acara Network on Twitter and also our website, acara.network. So thank you very much for tuning in today, and thanks for having me here. Thanks, guys.